cracking? What's cracking? What's cracking? This is Coach Cali Sports Talk. Hit me up, like, subscribe, everything like that. Hit the notification button. All right, we're gonna talk about a little bit about the transfer portal today. Also, Miami versus Indiana, and some a little bit more. Right. All right. I watched both games. Indiana, man, destroyed Oregon. I mean, dominated from offense to defense. Oregon looked like an average team out there playing against India, and I thought that Oregon at least be able to be in the game a little bit, but man, they wasn't. They wasn't. It was almost horrible to watch. It was pretty bad. The last minute call towards the end, uh, that is debatable. I thought it was pass interference. The little Hail Mary pass or whatever. I thought that was pass interference. Interference, excuse me. But the in the Miami game, I'm sorry, in the Miami game uh, versus Ole Miss, but Miami came back and took it. Uh, Indiana versus Oregon, they tried. They tried to make a comeback, but I didn't think they was going to make it back to all those many points and try to cover that many points. I didn't see it happening. But congrats to Miami and Indiana. I did see the whole plot though. I understand Miami's still an ESPN product, right? And uh, you know, SEC and the ACC are with ESPN. So Indiana and everything, other teams were not, except for all the SEC teams and that one ACC team, right? All the SEC teams lost. They tried to rig this thing and put 5 SEC teams in the playoffs, and SEC still lost. They still lost. And you know what? I need to do something about that. So we're going to give the SEC yes, man. Yes, man. That's how they felt, the SEC. But check this out. When Alabama lost, I knew it was over. I already knew because the other teams, even Ole Miss, right? And I saw when I watched that game, I didn't think Ole Miss was going to even, I thought Ole Miss was going to win that game. But when you're watching the game, you didn't think they were going to you know, even make a game close like that. But they did. But to the SEC conference, I just wanted to say to all other teams that beat all the SEC teams, I'm going to give them an applause. Yes, sir. Let me give them another one. That goes to the SEC for losing all 8 games and trying to rig the playoffs. Yes, sir. They were trying to rig it, and all the teams were out. They got out. The SEC is not who everybody say they are. And it's starting to show, man, the Big Ten is nothing to play with, right? And then the SEC likes to try to go bully the ACC and say they're sorry. So those commentators, they always talking bad about the ACC, say that conference is no good and that ACC teams need to go ahead and join other forces for other conferences. Well, Miami went and bought them a team. right? After having Cam Ward last season, right? And that little craziness with Cam Ward at the end, losing to Iowa State and him sitting out, that stuff needs to stop. Like all that stuff like that, all these players sitting out on because they're going to get drafted in a bowl and they don't play the bowl game. Aren't you still trying to win those games to bring a trophy to your school to show that the whole season wasn't in vain? Kids got to start playing for their teams, man. You know what I mean? All this bouncing around and stuff like that, it's just ridiculous. And but I just think that you know, college football, even though players are getting paid, I think that, I heard Herb Street, right, talking about this, that it's you got the teams that are playing right now, right, that played in the playoffs, they're running the ball, running the ball, running the ball, running the ball, running the ball. They're passing, but they're not passing just pass, 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 pass. Who won that game from Miami? The running back did. A freshman running back at that, who's still supposed to be in high school. That kid is supposed to still be in high school. And he's getting them to the natty. The running backs. That lets you know you can pass all you want to, but if you don't have a running game, you're not going to win, go to the national championship just passing. Colorado tried to do that with Shedeur. It didn't work. It did not work. That's why Coach Prime went to go get a running offensive coordinator that likes to run the ball. And good thing they got this young man whose offense averaged 35 points a game. So now, if you could get that defense in order, to me, it really wasn't that much, nothing really wrong with the offense, all that like that. They stopped believing in Caden Salters, Colorado did, when they shouldn't have. They should have believed in that kid all the way through. But they stood by him all the way through. I bet if they would have stood by him all the way through, they would not have had the season that they had. But because he struggled against Georgia Tech, and they were supposed to blow out Georgia Tech wasn't soft, right? But I don't know, Coach Prime and them, they thought wrong on that situation there. And unfortunately, Caden Salters lost the whole season because of that debacle there. All right, I'm going to go into the playoffs real quick. All right, so you see here, right, as we know, James Madison played Oregon, right, and they beat them 34-51. And then they turned around and beat Texas Tech 23-0. Texas Tech wasn't who everybody thought they were anyway, right? And I thought Texas Tech could beat Oregon, and they flopped. And I knew that the quarterback wasn't that good, Morton. I should have known that when they played against Colorado last season. Even though they put all that talent on that team, they still went home with nothing. They got one trophy, I guess. No, they didn't even get a trophy to go to the playoffs because they sat out. Well, they had a bye week. All those teams that had byes, except for Indiana, right? Except for Indiana, won. Indiana is probably going to win the whole thing, right? Miami, like I said, their defense is monsters. Ole Miss had monsters on their defense. But I think watching Indiana last night, I just don't think that Beck can throw on Indiana's defense. They're going to have to run the ball. Miami's going to have to run the ball more. They're going to have to. But you see what Oregon tried to run the ball. What happened? They still got embarrassed. Not only that, they turned the ball over several times. Several times. Right? So, let me see. Move this over here. Stretch this out. Oh. All right. So we got to move the screen over here real quick. Hold on just a second. But anyway, yeah, Indiana dominated last night. And between these two teams, um, it's hard for me to ride with Miami on this. But I do know this is fixed up for Miami to win this thing at home against Indiana. But you got a lot of no-name players on Indiana. Nobody know who their names are for real, except for Mendoza, right? So, and they've proven these kids came from James. Some of these kids came from James Madison. I've been saying this on my show several times that teams like James Madison, they're going to have to watch out for in the future because of this transfer portal deal. These small schools who have jumped up in the Power 5, Power 4, whatever you call it, they're going to pay for some players. And James Madison, they're about a few players away on defense from being compete with teams like Oregon, right? Teams like Alabama, teams like Ole Miss, Tulane. These teams like that, the Tulanes, the North Dakota States, them type of schools, you're going to have to watch out for those schools because those schools, believe it or not, have a lot of great talent on their teams who probably didn't get chosen by a Power 5 school or a big-time school and did wonderful things on the lower level. Now it's time for them to jump up to the big boys. And that's what a lot of these colleges are getting. And I'm going to show you that in a minute for an example like Colorado. So hold on, let me click out of this. I'm going to go to 24/7 and show you the transfer portal. All right. I want this video. I don't know why this is doing this. Loading up slow. It's loading up slow, but it's all good. But anyway, you're going to see a lot on the transfer portal who are from lower level divisions, but they had a whole bunch of tackle, a whole bunch of sacks. They think that kids from the SWAC can't play on the higher level, teams and conferences, but that's not true. You start to see a lot of kids that are being transferred, that's transferring out of the Division II, Division III, and Division 1A, right? FCS, right? Into the Power 5. Trinidad Chambliss came from Ferris State, which is a lower level school where they don't really get any type of funding, NILs or anything like that. Hold on. They don't get any NILs or things like that. So and they don't get. I think they got to get grants, school grants. They don't get like major scholarships in those schools. Those lower level Division threes and Division two schools. Some of those schools are like that, right? So they wanted to play on another level. Look at Shedeur Sanders. He came from the lower levels in the SWAC. He came from the SWAC, came up to the big time, and proved that he can play on that level, right? Cam Ward, another kid, Scatterbo, came from Sacramento State, right? Cam Ward, it came from Incarnate Word, wasn't recruited very high. And I wonder what Andrew Body is going to do, right? If he's going to go to a Power 5 or a bigger school, Andrew Body. I think he's got one more year eligibility left. All right, we're going to look in the transfer portal right here. And look at how many commits that Colorado have. All right, so Colorado got incoming 25 transfers, right? They got a young man, Ernest Campbell from Sacramento State. They got some Hamos, some Samoans, man, and some Hawaiians, Tongans, whatever. They got them. They got a few of them now. They got this Vila. He's from San Jose State. This dude is like 6'3", 6'4" edge rusher, 254 pounds. They got a lot of edge rushers in this deal, right? They got a lot. I don't know how many, but they got quite a few. All right. Tajay White. He came from Rutgers, right? Colorado beat Rutgers. No. Did they beat Rutgers? No, that was USC. Sorry. Mitchell. He's a safety. Now, this guy is little. I don't know why they went for a little safety. I just don't understand why they went for a 5'10" safety. He's little. I don't think he weighed that much either. Let me see how much this kid weighed. He's 5'10", 175. Now he's going to have to put on some muscle. He's little. He's about the same height as Preston Hodge. I hope he plays better than Preston Hodge, because Preston Hodge was horrible. Preston Hodge was horrible. And he's trying to go in the draft. I don't see him getting drafted. There's nothing against the young man. I just didn't see it. Whatever Coach Prime thought, I didn't see it in him. They got a kid from Notre Dame. Oh, that Mitchell kid, he's from New Mexico State. He's 5'10", though. 5'10". I hope he plays good. Creed Thomas from Notre Dame. This Cam Perry kid, this kid put up numbers as a wide receiver. He's a little dude, though. He's only 5'9", but he can play, man. This dude is like almost an All-American in college. You got Tyler Moore. This dude is little. He is little to be a D line. He's little. It's just the correct guy. Yeah, he's 5'10". He's the same height as the safety. I don't know why Colorado went and got this kid, but he is little. 5'10", 290. I hope he's like the block bully, because I think that's how tall the block bully was. Chidozie. I wonder what happened to Chidozie's brother. His brother was on Colorado too. Hey, this kid right here, Damian Henderson, the second, that's a big dude. We're going to have a big running back, and hopefully we have the Price kid as well, right? So if we have the Rice kid, right, we have Micah, the Taylor kid, Track Hawk. We'll have Damian Henderson, right? And we'll have Jaquil Smith. I don't know how many yards he put up under Sacramento, but that go-go offense, they know it. So that's why they brought these cats in to teach these other guys, to help these other guys. And then you got Yamil Talib. Sorry, thinking of rapping. Yamil Talib, but this is the football player's nephew from the Denver Broncos, Talib, right? Edge rusher. He played at Charlotte. Yamil Talib is 6'2", 240 edge rush. They got all these edge rushers. They must gonna change some of these guys' positions from not just being an edge rusher. Probably some of them probably hybrid linebacker type situation, right? And then they got Toby Ani from North Dakota State. They got Jaden Richardson, O-lineman from University of Missouri. Tyler Martinez, New Mexico State. Now, you see what I was talking about? They getting all these guys from the smaller schools, lower level schools that can play, right? Or are hungry. They're not getting these kids from the bigger schools who's looking for the bag. They got a kid from JMU, Emmanuel Zigwe. Sorry if I tortured your name, man. I'm sorry. But he's a no star. This guy has no stars. But he must have done something because, like I said, Colorado's not going to get you if you ain't did nothing. They have another kid, a corner, Justin Eaglin from James Madison. He's 6'1", 175. So at least we got corners at 6 foot. We got another D lineman, Santana Hooper from Tulane. How big is this kid? Because some of the dudes that left are way bigger than these guys. He's 6'2", 265. $265. And then one of the biggest catches right here was Leona LaFleur, another Samoan kid, right? A Hawaiian kid, right? From the University of Texas. The kid was a beast as a linebacker over there. So he's from the SEC. And then this wide receiver right here, Danny Scuduro, I don't know, Scuduro. Hey, I watched his highlights. That kid is mad nice. You know what? I don't know if you saw the kid from Illinois State, the wide receiver from Illinois State, playing the FCS national championship. Right? But that kid was mad nice. Colorado, I don't know what Colorado need to do, but they need to go look at some of the Montana State players and some of those Illinois State players and look at some more of the North Dakota State players. Some of them guys like that and smaller levels. Even UCLA. They got some players over there right now. UCLA is out of control right now. So they're still trying to find themselves. Anyway, we got a guy named Gideon Lampert. This is the guy that ran into Coach Prime on the plane. And he played at Bowling Green, and he said he wanted to play for Coach Prime. And there this kid is. He's there. right? Jose Santos, Sacramento State. We got a Hispanic kid, right? O-line. Isaac Wilson, he's going to be a backup because there's no way he'll be a starter. He's not accurate. He threw like just as many touchdowns he threw more interceptions than touchdowns. So I know he's probably going to be in Ryan Stopp's position. But Coach Prime is going to have to find him a good quarterback this coming season when Juju becomes a sophomore. He's going to have to find him another 5-star quarterback. Dylan Manuel, Appalachian State. They said this kid right here is mad nice at D tackle, right? We got Israel Christensen, New Mexico State. They sure got a lot of New Mexico State players. I don't know what New Mexico State record was, but they sure did get players. They got smaller players. This guy's 6'2", 280. I don't know how tall Tafik and them was, but Tafik, I never seen Tafik get a sack or anything. So I don't know. Then they got this kid from Albany. I don't know, Kamara. He's 6'4", I believe. 6'3", 6'4". 6'3", 6'3", 275. Oh, Lord. Did I just see what I just thought I saw? Did I see what I just thought I saw right now? Oh, my God. All right. Then you got Lamont Lester Jr. from, I don't know what school he played at. He played at Mammoth? Mammoth. He played at Mammoth. He was supposed to go. He had an offer from UConn, and I'm playing at Mammoth. Okay, so he came from a small school too. I think they say he was very dominant on his team. But anyway, so now look at all those kids that came from smaller schools. So you got a few that came from Power 5. So now, oh man, dude, Carter Stoudemire is in the transfer portal. I could see he can be in the transfer portal. I know people were like, he's slow. He's slow. I don't know how tall he is, but he's slow. He's 5'11", 210. He's slow. I've been saying that for a while. Carter Stoudemire is slow. The only ones I was not too happy to see leave was Omarion Miller. Cam Markell, man, I wish he would stay. I don't like seeing Nikhil Webb Walker leave either. Or London Merritt. Now look at the schools. Look how many kids here actually got a school. So this is the guys that's going out. Carter Stoudemire, he must got a team he's about to go to, but for him just to jump in all of a sudden. DJ McKinney, Notre Dame. London Merritt, Clemson, that's 2. Who's the third one? Look, all these guys are still here. You got Tafik, Georgia Tech, so that's 3. 4, Alex McPherson. He goes to Penn State, right? Brandon Davis Swain goes to Texas A&M. Tafik Bayard goes to Texas A&M. Omarion Miller, Arizona State. Jaheim Otis goes to Ole Miss. And that's it. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You got 8 players out of 35 who actually got teams. Some of these dudes are not going to be on the team next year. Some of these guys will not be on the team. I will go back to Colorado. If you're not going to be able to make this window, I will go right back to Colorado and go play. Because if you ain't got a team, only 8 players got teams. Maybe Carter Stoudemire. But the rest of these guys, Timmons stayed hurt a lot. Ryan Staub is not a good quarterback. Reginald Hughes, I don't know about him. I thought he was a pretty decent linebacker. I just don't think he had enough opportunity. I think they rotated players way too much under the system they had before. Nobody got comfortable. Or if you're gonna make everybody a starter, make sure everybody has a role. That's what I would have did. If anything, if I'm gonna rotate players, I'll make everybody the starter and be like, look, everybody's a starter, right? You might not be the first starter group out there, but everybody's a starter. I need every player to be ready to go. You know, when it's your time to get called out there, because guys are gonna need breaks, guys are gonna need this and that. I'm gonna need you out there. That's how I would build my team, right? That's just me. But yo, hey, I want to say this too. Shout out to Benson, right? Benson, who used to play for Colorado. This dude is in the national championship now. He went back. He made the right decision for himself. Went back to Indiana and played his correct position because Colorado did not put him in his correct position. And how was that? He looked mediocre at Colorado, but looks like an all-star at Indiana. Somebody ain't coaching right. Somebody's not doing something right. So, you know, I'm not saying nothing bad as far as against Coach Prime and them, but at the same time, it's like, yo, you got to do better for these kids when it comes to coaching. These kids got to watch tape after the game. These kids got to watch film all week. They're getting too many breaks. They're getting too much time on their hand. Too much time on their hand. When they're there, they need to focus on their education and that what they came there for, which is football. But yo, this is what Colorado got, and they got I don't know how many Pacific Islanders. Oh yeah, and you can't forget about the Pecco brothers, right? They got the Pecco brothers, and they also let me go back here. They got some guys. They got a list of guys they're still waiting on trying to get. So who is this kid here? I don't know who this big kid is here. That's a big joker right there. Who is it? Let me see real quick. I'm just trying to see story on this commit. Or maybe even one of the offensive linemen. I don't know. All right. Let me see something. Can y'all see what I'm seeing? Okay, you can. All right. Um, I'm just trying to make sure y'all can see what I'm seeing. All right. So now I'm gonna go to the transfer portal tracker. All right, so transfer portal tracker. Down at the bottom here, this is all the players that they got, right? That came in. But at the bottom, they got the ones players that they're trying to get. So they're trying to go after CJ Baxter Jr. from Texas, DeAndre Moore Jr. from Texas, a four-star wide receiver, right? Out of Bellflower, California, from John Bosco. These kids, that kid is from Cali, right? They're also the kid from Mercer, edge rusher named Andrew Zook. My buddy's son um, plays offensive line at Mercer. Uh, Jimerson, last name Jimerson. I think his number is 76 or 67. Is one of them. He's a tall joker. He's about 6'6", 6'7". Plays offensive line for Mercer. Jimerson. Uh, edge. They looking for a lot of edge rushers. They are looking for a lot of edge rushers. How many edge rushers do you need? Unless they're going to turn them into linebackers. That's the only thing I can think of. Um, Again, they're looking at a kid from Georgia Southern, MJ Stroud, edge, Joshua Norman of Tulane. They're looking at a kid from UMass, David Anua from UMass, Anthony Jones from UCLA. They're looking at another edge rusher, Edwin Kolinga from Boston College. Matai, which is a Samoan kid or a Tongan kid, right? From USC. That kid is good. And they need to go and grab him. 6'4", 210. Go get him. Go get him. Colorado need to go get him. Go get him. They're looking at a corner, Smith Snowden, 5'10", 185 from Utah. Man, these corners, man, y'all trying to get little ass corners. Why? Safety, Random Fontanet, Vanderbilt. They don't show. He's 6'2". Go get him. He's from the SEC. And then they're trying to get Boo Carter. Boo Carter at Tennessee. They said Boo Carter was kicked off Tennessee's team. Some off the field issues. Boo Carter's a beast. He didn't get to play very much at Tennessee. He was let go off the Tennessee squad kind of quick. So we're not doing what he needs to do. So I don't know if Coach Prime is going to go after something like that. The person don't show up. He don't go to class. He already dealt with that with, I don't know. He already dealt with that with Kermani and several other different players. So it remains to be seen if he's going to get him. We'll see. Boo Carter's a beast, though. The kid he's a beast. There's a kid from here named Hedzi. He played linebacker / defensive end, I guess, at Jimerson High School in Huntsville, Alabama, and he's gone to Tennessee. They had that all in the papers and the news and stuff by him. But anyway, yo, um, with this college football portal, as you see, and I'm gonna go back and we can go look at some other schools that see like they're getting out the portal, right? Um, let's just check another school to see what they're getting out of the portal. Um, and go back here. Let's just check another team in the conference and see what kids are getting out the transfer portal. Let's go to another team in the conference. Let's see. Let's go to a big dog, right? You want to go to a big dog? Um, let's go to Texas Tech. See what they're getting out of the transfer portal. Let's see how many players are going in the transfer portal. How many kids are incoming? All right. So they got a lot of. Oh, Romaine is going to. Austin Romaine is leaving Kansas State. How many guys are leaving? So, all right. I'm going to show y'all real quick. All right. So Texas Tech got 19 kids in the transfer portal. Right? 19. Let's see who all they got. Wide receiver, linebacker, Justin Horn, Dylan Spencer, edge, 6'5", Bryce Morgan, wide receiver. Dante Lindsay, corner, 6'1". Huh. They might want to look at him. They got 14 coming in. What schools are they coming from? Now, this kid is from San Diego State. This kid is from Alabama State. Jalen Jones. That kid is a wide receiver. He mad nice. That kid put up like major numbers at Alabama State. Uh, Kenny Johnson, Pitt. They're getting Romaine from Kansas State. That kid he can play linebacker. This must be his last year. He should have stayed at Kansas. JoJo Johnson, Beavers. Bryce Butler, Washington. Brendan Sorsby. He's not that good of a quarterback, so they still want to lose. Nathan whatever. Wake Forest. Julian, what school he come from? Akron. University of Akron. So he came from a small school. Look how many small school guys they get. Everybody's getting small schools. Miami, Ohio. What school is that? Louisville? Let me see what school that is. He came from. Devin Martin. UTSU? Yep. UTSA. Road running. So a lot of schools are going to division, smaller schools to get players, man. There's another one, Liberty. Dante Lee, wide receiver, Liberty. University of Nevada, and the last player, edge rusher, Amari Fleming from Allen University. I never even heard of that university before. My point is that all these colleges are getting these players because these schools they're going down to the lower level to get talent from these smaller schools, right? Who don't have big funding like these bigger schools. These colleges can't afford these high dollar kids every season. They can't afford to pay out NIL money to all these players. So they have to go down to the lower level and either give them scholarships or give them a small NIL, right? Or the school has to do the funding for them, for these players. So they got a budget. And so they got to budget that money on what type of players they can get. So basically, you got to take some no-name kids and turn them into top names, top stars, whatever. Supposedly they're no names. They're names that people know them. They know who they are. It's like I'm a no name, right? Right? But I got the skill set to be able to fight. I'm a trained fighter, right? I can do jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, box. I can do it all, right? But if I can take some kids that never done this before and turn them in, and that's what I do. I turn kids who've never done this sport before and turn them into champions. That's what I do. And I've done it over and over and over for year after year, turn some kids into champions who didn't think they were going to be champions. And that's basically what you go and find. You want to find some kids who are hungry, who are determined, and who's going to have the will to take this to a whole nother level. But at the same time, you got to give that mentality to your kids. You got to weld that into the kids. You can't just show up and tell them to do the work and then that's like me trying to tell kids how to kick. Oh, kick. But I didn't tell them how to execute that kick, to get a little closer, how to get closer, how to move their feet, how to shift over to score that kick if the person is taller or shorter than them. How to execute that same kick, right? But if I just show them a few moves, right, and they never spar, never hit nobody, never do anything, how would they know how to do it? They wouldn't even know how to take contact. That's why college teams need more contact practices, right? More physical practices. Because what I saw with Colorado doing it, let me tell you this. I knew by watching a video that the defense was going to be horrible. I saw that on the well-off videos. Them cats was getting torched on defense. I said, well, if they're getting torched like this in practice, then they're going to get torched like this in the game. And that's exactly what we saw. We saw it firsthand. The offense wasn't that much better because you saw it in the videos. The well-off videos didn't lie. They don't change because, you saw it in practice. Whatever you do in practice, you're going to do it in the game. I tell my kids that all the time, my martial arts students. I tell them this all the time. I said, well, how you practice is how you're going to execute it live when you're fighting somebody that you don't know. So you got to learn how to execute this stuff the way I'm telling you to and showing you, and rehearse this. And some kids will just walk through the drills, walk through them and not going full speed. And then they wonder why they couldn't do this, they couldn't do that, they couldn't do this. And why this person beat me like this. So when it comes to football and putting these players together, you have to find out their mentality. And Coach Prime, thank God Coach Prime is there recruiting. He could have been back home dealing with some other things with his health. He is there showing up for these recruiting things now. And he got a new offensive coordinator who's going to run the ball more. As we see in the playoffs, the two teams have good running games. Carson Beck is not all of that. He's not a first-round pick. His running back is, though. His defense and his running back won that game. Carson Beck did not win that game. He managed the game. Carson Beck is not a good passer. He's not. He's not an accurate passer. He's probably going to get drafted, and they're going to draft him, especially if he wins the Natty. Him and Indiana's quarterback will be drafted. I don't see this Carson Beck beating out say if they try to draft, Cleveland try to draft a quarterback, right, after having Shedeur. I don't see Carson Beck outthrowing Shedeur. Now, he might learn the playbook and all of that, probably better than Shedeur, but I don't see him outthrowing Shedeur. That's just an example. Not saying that's going to happen, but it could, okay? Because Cleveland still wants to get a quarterback, even though they got Shedeur Sanders. They don't have full faith in him, right? So I'm just saying. But Colorado, like I said, going back to Colorado has got a lot of, transfer portal lower level players to their team. Indiana did the same thing. Their roster is full of transfer portal people, including Fernando, right? Fernando played at Cal last season. So, they're recruiting. And Miami did the same thing. All their kids are transfer portal, everybody, right? The only kid there's only a few kids that's playing that's not. That's that freshman running back, and that kid is a beast. He is a monster. He's playing running back and supposed to be in high school. His senior year. So that's awesome. But anyway, I put in a good 55 minutes on here. I just wanted to chop it up and say some things on here about college football. Check out my other channels, DJ Killer Cali. I'm a DJ as well. Check me out on YouTube. Hopefully I'm going to put some links or something up. But anyway, on my, backdrop, But also check out New Legacy Martial Art Academy. As you know, I teach kids in martial arts, things like that as well. And you can check out my channel on YouTube. All right. Till the next time. Deuces.